Okay, I want to make a video here about how to get rid of chronic constipation. This is for adults or children. My son, who's 13 years old, was having problems with his stomach. He continued to complain about his stomach not feeling good and feeling uneasy, especially after meals. He was complaining of chest pains. He was complaining of his throat being tight. And I noticed he wasn't going to the bathroom a lot. I thought, well, maybe he was just going when I wasn't looking. And we, of course, took him to the pediatrician, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. We took him to a heart doctor, took him to a neurologist, and eventually they gave him an x-ray, and the bowels showed that they were being obstructed. So stool was basically getting caught up in the intestines and not being able to come out. Another word for that's called encropresis. That's basically when it comes out a little bit at a time, and usually not when they go to the bathroom. It's like sitting, and then just like a little bit of chunks will come out at a time. And so the reason that happens is a lot of times when they're babies or as children, they'll hold it in for whatever reason. It might be because they're in a place where they can't go, or they feel uneasy about it. There might be some kind of psychological reason behind it. And when you hold it in like that, it'll damage the intestines. And what it'll do is it'll stretch out the wall, and where there's not like a lot of muscle tone to keep it coming out. And so in order to heal that, you need to make sure you get the stool out and completely going out. And eventually over time, it will heal and reshape into the form it's supposed to. So the pediatrician prescribed us two over-the-counter medications that you can get on Amazon or Walgreens or any pharmacy store. And again, I want you to make sure that you contact a doctor and before you try anything like this out, because you can do harm. So make sure you do consult with the doctor and have them, of course, test for chronic constipation, and then say, hey, can we try these two medications? So we do two things. We do the first one is called Omeprazole, and we give one of these tablets in the morning about 30 minutes before breakfast, and this is for like acid. And then the second one we do, it's called Miralax, and it's for constipation, and we do about a pack and a half of this. It's a serving and a half per night. You can also get them in the pill form, and pill form is probably better, but they come in packets like this. And so what we'll do is we'll mix in half apple juice a cup, half apple juice, half water, pour it in, stir it up, let it sit for about 20 minutes, and then he drinks it, and he feels great, and it tastes good too. So the one thing we were doing was, the drink that they take. I forgot the name of it, but the white stuff that doesn't taste good. And that wasn't going over too well, but he really likes the taste of this. So after doing this for about 3 weeks, we go back to the doctor, and she does a physical exam on him and to test and see if he's getting the stool out. And sure enough, the stool is coming out. And he's like, she's like, keep going with this. It's working on him, and give it about several months to a year, and his bowels will completely heal. And I think the same thing with adults. You could do the same regimen. But again, consult with a doctor before you try any of this, because I am not a doctor. All right, I hope I gave you guys some good advice. If your child is having discomfort with their stomach and you realize that they're not going to the bathroom a lot, contact the pediatrician and say, hey, can you test them? They took an x-ray of my son, and that's how they were able to find out. So say, hey, maybe test them out for this if they're having a lot of, problems with not being able to use the bathroom and pain. So, all right, guys, I do appreciate it, and please subscribe.